Good morning and thank you for joining me. In today's video, we're going to be heading out to rescue this 1965 International Scout that you see behind me. We're going to haul it home, introduce you to the new owner, it's not me, and talk a little bit about what the future of this truck is going to be. So let's get going. Let's go. Ivy in.
It'll rotate, but it's making a really heavy glug sound.
Are we positive you're getting spark out of that new distributor? Carburetors and distributors are pretty much good at just being broken.
Yeah, no kidding.
Move. Ivy, come on. Good girl, thank you. Yeah, there's enough there. I think I can grab it right where it is. Ivy, move. I know. Come on. Good girl. I'm just going to have to hold the camera because I brought my other GoPro, but I didn't bring the SD card. So all I have is this little camera that I don't have a mount for. But we just picked up our 1965 International Harvester Scout. This thing has not run in like 15 years, the seller said. I have this truck is not mine. It is sold. The gentleman that bought it is paying me to come get it and haul it for him, and we're going to be doing some light restoration work on this truck. We're going to be doing the mechanical repairs. Ivy, can I help you? Would you like your own window? Is that what you're after? Or can you just not decide? So why did you need that big front bumper? And alternatively, why does Wyoming put cattle guards at the interstate exit ramps? Well, Wyoming is an open range state, and what that means is essentially if you are a property owner and you don't want cattle on your property, it is your job as the property owner to fence the cattle off of your property. So, one, you want a nice bumper just because you never know when you might see some bovine traffic, aside from all the, antelope and deer and everything else you're likely to run into. But two, if you, a landowner, such as the state of Wyoming is a landowner, and you do not want cattle on your property, such as interstate highways, it is your job, state of Wyoming, to prevent cattle from getting on your interstate highways. So what that means is the state of Wyoming in rural areas actually puts cattle guards at the end of interstate exit ramps to prevent cows from being able to walk down the exit ramp. Comfortable? We're up here with, since I was in the neighborhood, I swung by to visit Mike and Aaron from Our Wyoming Life. Hung out with them for a few minutes. But for now, let's get, we got like 4.5 hours to go yet with this Scout. So let's get moving. is in all its rusted glory. This is why I put the strap around it, because I didn't really trust this to stay closed, and I don't really trust that to stay on.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Now, I don't know, the floors don't look as bad as they did in the pictures.
No, I mean, they're there.
Got to be careful. This, try not to breathe the air too much in here. There was, I was gonna say a couple years, was it 3-4 years back? There was a outbreak of hantavirus in with the mice and whatnot in Wyoming, in that area that this truck came from.
I'll just pretend I didn't hear that. Now this door, I don't know if it'll open from the inside or not, but the handle out here is broken off.
Oh, there you go.
I had to, oh hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Still got the leather strap to hold the door.
Good Lord. 2 sticks.
Yep.
2 sticks on the transfer case. We got a high-low and an engage and a front axle engagement and disengagement. This little H pattern. Reverse. 1, 3. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Heat, defrost, and that's the sum total of climate control.
Well, I mean, you got a fan, somebody attached to the roof.
Didn't even notice that.
I didn't either until just now.
That's great. Oh, that is beautiful. That is really beautiful. Initially, they didn't have. It was either a bulkhead that came up to about here.
Okay.
That was standard. That it was just a bulkhead that was for the pickup truck model, which is what they thought would be more popular initially. Then they discovered that this particular setup was actually sold better. But this little this bulkhead here is definitely going to go because we're going to be putting a back seat in it. The top is going to go back to being an item that comes off and goes back on. It actually looks a lot better in here than the initial pictures. Yep, it's that. This engine's really interesting. It's a IH, the Comanche 152, which is half of a 304. This engine. They wanted something smaller. They wanted to do a 4-banger, but what they did was they just lopped off it's a slant 4.
Right.
So here's your head. They just lopped off a bank of heads of pistons, and you can see where in the 304 model, which is almost exactly the same, except for there's a bank of pistons that go right here.
Nice.
We're not going to stick with this motor. This engine, it actually, as long as it's not seized, it probably still, it actually may still have some value, depending on condition. We may try to put a little bit in it to get it running, but it will be getting replaced.
Okay.
So this may be something we may be actually able to send off to somebody else who wants to use it, because they do have some small level of desirability.
What are you thinking about putting in?
Most likely, just for ease of maintenance, parts, things of that nature, she's most likely going to get a small block Chevy.
Not sold on the 4BT Cummins?
Not sold on the 4BT Cummins.
I was pushing for a small Cummins swap.
As much as I would enjoy diesel, I drive truck for a living. I love diesel. The reality is for the same amount of space and a lot less weight, I can get a lot more power. If you notice, then it kind of reminded you of a Bronco.
Yeah.
This was introduced in '61. The Bronco was introduced in '66 as a direct competitor to this vehicle. So there's a lot of folks really love the early Broncos, and there's a great love for them. But a lot of people don't realize that the Bronco was essentially a copy. There's a lot of things that are up in the air as far as what I'm exactly going to, like what parts I'm going to use, things of that nature. Just kind of just have a general outline, and being able to look at her has a lot of helps a lot.
Because you've never seen this thing.
No, I bought this based on pictures and the fact that I've wanted to scout for a few decades now. Stephen King introduced me to the Scout. in his book, The Stand, one of the characters drove a Scout. It was mentioned, and I was reading it as an early teen, pre Google, pre World Wide Web kind of, pre-internet as we know it today. Definitely pre-YouTube. And so I had to go to. I was like, "What's a Scout? I've never heard of that." And this was back in the late '80s, early '90s, and it was I had to actually go to the library and take a look to look up what a Scout looked like, and they're great. They're great. I love them. They're just cool. As far as whether or not the transmission and transfer case, whether they are workable, because I'm actually leaning towards keeping them. It was really good. That makes me happy. I was worried about rust up to the frame.
Gotcha.
It was a concern, as is visible.
Yeah, I mean, we've got rust behind both the doors in the quarter panel.
Mm-hmm.
We've got whatever is going on up here that causes this door to be off by a few inches and not want to close.
Yeah. And like.
You can see where my lack of faith in that thing staying closed for 300 miles came from.
Yeah. We are definitely going to keep the original style of latching the tailgate. It's just one of the nifty little touches that I really like. Because she's going to get a whole new suspension, new axles. Right now she's got 27s, Dana 27s on her, both front and rear. I'm planning on doing Dana 44s.
Now that, look right there, see these lugs are stamped R for right-hand threads. You ran into this a lot on 50s and 60s era trucks. One side, typically the driver, would actually be left-hand threads. So these are actually reverse threaded. To take these lug nuts off, you turn them clockwise. And then that's an original locking hub. I mean,
these are the original locking
appears
hubs.
to be seized up, but it does have the little IH logo in it right there. So because this is a 1965, there are some things like mirrors that, you came with one, the passenger side was optional, and seat belts were not legally required at that time. Seat belts didn't become a requirement until what, 1968, 69, something like that?
It was late 60s.
But because this thing is going to be not quite a daily driver, but it is going to get driven and used.
It's going to get driven, it's going to get used. My family's going to, when it's done, my family's going to be, riding around in it. She's getting seat belts.
Yeah, that's a worthwhile addition.
Yeah. The original grill's going to stay. Whatever I do with the front end, that is going to stay. It's in great shape.
Yeah.
I really am shocked at how good of shape it is. I really am kind of surprised. It is.
It's not perfect, but
Not in the
for
least.
being as old as it is, sitting in a field for a decade and a half that we know of, maybe more before that, because that's just how long this guy's had it.
Yeah.
So obviously, Elliot has some really big plans for this truck. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's also going to be a lot of work when you start talking about doing engine swaps and axle swaps and suspension changes and things like that. So this is not going to be an overnight project by any means, but it is going to be a lot of fun and really interesting to work on. So if you're into this kind of thing, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to wrap this up for now. Thanks for watching, and more later.